Rolling on to the screen with the bad fast machines, individuals with the stones, that is everyone glued to their phones. They are much more than just drivers out here trying to be lone survivors, while many more come and fall when they come up against the outlaws. Cocked, locked, and ready to rock, these fellas ain't ones to try and block. They're here to settle some scores and go after so much more. No time to make mistakes, 'cause there is too much at stake. Ain't no one can make them follow the law, because these are the outlaws. As the times fly on by, all drivers are looking past the sky. Since time is on their side, all they care about is getting in that top five. V8 motors still at full song, these folks are trolling along. As things start to heat up, it's time to aim the guns toward the cup. And ready to rock, these fellas ain't ones to try and block. They're here to settle some scores and go after so much more. No time to make mistakes, 'cause there is too much at stake. Ain't no one can make them follow the law, because these are the outlaws. Rolling on to the screen with the bad fast machines, individuals with the stones, that is everyone glued to their phones. They are much more than just drivers out here trying to be lone survivors, while many more come and fall when they come up against the outlaws. Cocked, locked, and ready to rock, these fellas ain't ones to try and block. They're here to settle some scores and go after so much more. No time to make mistakes, 'cause there is too much at stake. Ain't no one can make them follow the law, because these are the outlaws. As the times fly on by, all drivers are looking past the sky. Since time is on their side, all they care about is getting in that top five. V8 motors still at full song, these folks are trolling along. As things start to heat up, it's time to aim the guns toward the cup. And ready to rock, these fellas ain't ones to try and block. They're here to settle some scores and go after so much more. No time to make rolling on to the screen with the bad, fast machines. Individuals with the stones, that is everyone glued to their phones. They are much
Oh, that's why. They say that Miles the Monster roams and protects anyone who dares enter into his lair. Well, today, here in Dover, Delaware, we're about to figure that out for ourselves here as the drivers of the Outlaws Sim Series is about to go at it once more here down in the next gens on the big mile-long track. Hi, everyone. I am the dead man with a hot mic in hand. My name is Christian Schreiber, and I join you once more here on the track here as we're getting ready for some exciting racing action coming your way here. It's time to take a look at our starting lineup for this one here to take on the Monster Mile itself, presented in part by Twin Tiers Security Solutions, the little barcode to send you to the website for all the notifications you need and the experience to get from Twin Tiers Security. Let's take a look at our starting lineup on the pole. And the driver number 21, it's Aiden Garrodano. On the outside, number 09, that's going to be Keith Helton. Row number 2 in the 65, Kyle Langerfeld. The outside in the 88 is Jeremiah Stutzman. Row number 3 in the 18, Joshua Baye. The outside in the 67 is Anthony Hamilton. Row 4 in the number 51, Joshua McClure. The outside in that 56 is Adam Gardner. Row number 5 in the 5 is Matthew Setzer. The outside of that 9 is going to be Ben Henry. Row number 6 and the 23 is Morgan Sterling. The outside, the 3, Forrest Hamilton Jr. Row number 7, number 12, that's going to be Andrew St. Cor. The outside, and the number 13 is Kevin Thompson. And your final row today, it will be the number 96, the Rockstar, Matt Rogers. The outside, the 45, Merlin A. Duran. All right, race fans, this is now the time and the place here for the drivers to go at it here and send it to the moon and send it to the fight. They must scour, scourge, battle, strike, and defend off anything that comes their way in this hard-throbbing, hard-racing action showcase here on the lair of Miles the Monster here in Dover, Delaware. Take a look at your lineup here. Now we take a look at our track tech talk here. 1 mile in length, oval in configuration, high banked, high speeds. Watch for the drivers early to migrate on that bottom and look to shoot towards the lanes. But as we roll them on turn number 4 here, it's about to be set on down. 16 of the best Outlaws ready to go at it here. Green flag is out. Here we go. BMAC saying, have a great race, everyone. Go number 12, Andrew down there. Thank you, BMAC, for joining us on bar today. Out of the gate, it will be the number 09 of Keith Helton taking the early lead. The Flying Dutchman, Jeremiah Stutzman into the middle. 3 wide, saluting off there as Aiden Garrodano and Hamilton moving their way on the bottom and the top. Hamilton and Garrodano going to battle it out here down on the middle on the outside on the bottom lane, screwing through. Got to stay square, got to stay under control. Make sure you're not letting up too much pace on the track. Make sure the speeds are right where you need them. VMAC also reassuring, have a good race, Kevin and Adam down there. A lot of love down there for those boys here as we got Garrodano moving into the race lead. The Carvana 09 of Keith Helton, a car that's going to be very, very beloved and notarized down there in Daytona here next year, because this car will be the exact same car and style that you'll see when Jimmy Johnson returns to his Hendrick Motorsports number 48 for the final Daytona 500 of his career. And Keith definitely paying a bit of a tribute, kind of an homage, if you will, to that kind of style and that kind of sector of racing here. And how fun, how fitting too, because Jimmy Johnson, very well notorious here in Dover. He carried great speed and great saves as well to his name, and he definitely is one to watch out for when he got out on the track. And right now, Helton trying to kind of almost encapsulate, almost engage that strength that he needs to do it here. Got a lot more camera here with the driver, number 56. Adam Gardner looking for a lane or an opening around McClune, but trying to avoid trouble out of the gate, get himself into more of a mix-up or a mess than he wants to. I gotta believe a lot of drivers obviously going to try to keep things well within reach. Ooh, McClune though. Oh. McClune getting up on the wall protection there on turn number 4. Slammed that wall hard. Now squares it back up, but his battle now rages again with Gardner. And behind him, Forrest Hamilton Jr. looking to try to make a move off both of them here if they can. Now look at how gingerly, though, like coming off those corners. Look at how gingerly they're running back down the gap and then slamming down on the gas pedal. It's almost like they really want to make sure that that tire has any sort of grip before coming off that progressive end of this turn and into the straights. Those turns are not going to be easy to deal with, unlike what you see at Bristol Motor Speedway. These corners line up for, instead of a nice flat end straightaway, they have a banked straightaway and a backstretch. That's what makes this much more difficult, in my opinion, to kind of nail down speed and make sure drivers can find openings early on, because you have so much breathing room with that banking up there. The only thing you're really worried about is where do you put the car at and then timing the execution. The later this race goes, though, it's going to now become a malnutrition of who can hang on the longest and who stays right within their own lane, stays without of trouble. Up on the blip cam right now, Forrest Hamilton Jr. seeing that beautiful run on the bottom lane, shoots to the inside, gets a gap off McClune. Minus the buildings there in the background. Thankfully, we got that out of the way there. But right behind him there, you see a little bit of a charge up from the 9. That is Ben Henry and Matthew Setzer. Henry in the 9, Setzer in the 5. Right now trying to keep things well within his own reach, trying to stay ahead of the Chorners. Elizabeth Garridano has joined us. Have a great race to aid in this team. Amanda Prior says, good luck in 86 and Ohio all love. Amanda and Miss Elizabeth, thank you for joining us in today. It's great to see you all again. Moving up to the front, let's take a look at the man right now who holds the race lead. That being, of course, here in Aiden Garridano. And getting a good look right now on his onboard camera here. This is what I wanted to kind of show you guys right out of the gate. Notice with Aiden that he is basically keeping things well within his own reach. Very similar to what we saw earlier with some of the other drivers. But look at how quick he's getting back on that throttle very comparatively to where everyone else was. That's where all that speed's coming from. He's getting so much more grip and run. He steers it in quick, but then lines up the corner and then sends it off into the distance. That's one reason right now he is so bad, fast, and tough to be at the moment here, but he knows this will not be a little strategy call for shortcomings or anything like that. It will all be about timing, execution, and landing the throttle when you need to. We are only a mere 1/10 of the way done in this race. Andrew St. Clair having to work his way from the outhouse, trying to get something built up to get to that White House right now. That's a long, long road, though, for him and his team. The driver out of our northern brothers and sisters land of Canada right now, trying to see if he can make something move off quickly. Shouldn't have been too much of a drive down here. Delaware, again, is only a little bit of a stopgap between New York as well as the Providence of Canada. So, obviously, it was definitely not the worst kind of end of a trip here for a driver in that number 12. He's just pretty much kind of trying to figure where is the lane at and what is he going to do in his situations. Gardner and Henry right now looking on in the background. Core right behind them both, trying to figure out what McClune will be up to. He has slammed that wall down pretty hard earlier. Seems to have kind of temperamental himself down a bit, staying out of trouble. Falling back early in this here is Morgan Sterling, who goes 4 spots down. He was in 11th. He is now in 15th. And then even this one right here, the number 65, Kyle Langerfeld, qualifying 3rd. Currently holding up the 5th spot, but again, it is way too early to be making judgments here. All it takes is one wrong move, one wrong pit stop, or maybe somebody finds that little extra advantage and gets things kind of figured out, and that's when The real race is on. This isn't a track. I'm just going to be up front right now. This is not a track you're going to see a lot of passing on. Not till the tires wear down, drivers start to lose their strategy calls. Because, again, you got to factor in that with this kind of race and this kind of style, you can't really beat and bang up and bump as much as you'd like to in certain sectors there. But when you get openings like that, that's your chance, your opportunity. Gardner, mad dash right off into the wall protection on turn number 4. That cost him dearly. And he's not going to lose just 2 positions. He looks like he's going to lose 3. Gardner driving that thing way wide off through turn 3 and 4 again. Took it too hard there off the corner of exit 4. This time he took it too hard into the entry of turn number 3. And Gardner is just literally looking like a mouse with his head chopped off right now, trying to get things squared up again. He cannot get that thing straight where he wants to. I guess some of these drivers are going to kind of make a monkey out of me right now. I said a second ago they weren't going to really be able to do much passing. Well, it seems as though the number 12 thought, hey, wait a minute, what did the announcer just say? I will prove this man wrong. He goes 4 spots up. He started 13th. He's now in 9th. I'll give him his due. He got around the number 9 too as well. But up to the front, here we go. Battle off into the distance. The Flying Dutchman, Jeremiah Stutzman, now dealing with Hamilton. Right behind him, Hamilton again came off of such a strong run early out of the gate. Looked really good last time out as well. I thought honestly maybe he was going to be one of those drivers you're going to kind of keep your eye on the rest of the season. So far I'm getting a good look at that and then some. Forrest Hamilton Jr. right now, the number 3, kind of pulling up right behind on the number 51 of McClune. McClune trying to seize an opportunity, maybe a look out in there if he can, but he's not getting much of it here and getting much of a break. Trying to patrol down on the circuit and down through the tracks here as McClune and Ballier right now in the mix. Yeah, honestly, I'm kind of liking what I see here from Ballier out of the gate. He fell back 1 spot. Yes, that may be true, but he's being very smart, being very focused on hitting his race lane, hitting his line. I'm going to say it now. I think Joshua's going to have a much later pit stop than some of these other drivers are. Speed is crucial. Consistency is the utmost of importance. And patience kind of falls within that realm. McClune, though, honestly, I'll give him his credit where credit's due. He's very fast on these short runs, but again, is that hurting his long run strategy? Ooh, and he puts the old bumper to the 18 down there. Joshua getting shot up a little bit from that. I don't think he liked it too much. Probably had a quick little word down there on his pit crew mic saying, hey, somebody want to tell him to calm down back there? And McClune is like, hey, you're in front of me. That means I got bumpers, I got fenders. I'll just use it against you, my friend. Hamilton Jr. doing all he can right now, trying to make things work into the distance and through the corners. Time elapsing and moments running out of patience. And again, it seems like right now Core kind of being my my main driver to kind of look at here in terms of getting back into the thick of it. Kevin Thompson certainly can be put into that argument as well. McClune right now, again, honestly, I don't know if Ballier right now really cares that he's behind him or what's going on, but if I'm at 18 right now, I'm probably getting a little bit annoyed at the fact that he keeps coming up on my tail end like that. Knowing that he's not afraid to give him the old bump and run. I thought, honestly, he was going to kind of stick more towards that bottom lane as well as he does at 1 and 2 with 3 and 4, but it seems he's got an idea on 2 different lines here. Could he be seeing something we're not here in the booth? And could he be feeling something down the track? I've always said racing Feel is everything. To the touch to your pedal, to the core of your hands on the steering wheel. Everything you feel, everything you got in your mind, if you can put it down to almost a T, it's like working at NASA, as one famous driver once said. Hamilton Jr. back to the inside right now. Oh, well, does the Grizzly number 3 have something for the Lucas Oil 51? No, not yet anyway. God, McLeod right now got to be absolutely holding his breath and praying that he can keep that 3 behind him. He's not giving him an inch either. Oh, he might be also looking for that racing spot down there. He's looking for the 6th spot. Valier right now probably trying to kind of weigh in his own ideas. Woo! That may not have looked that close to you, race fans, but again, you got to think, when you're coming off that exit, you're shooting down so quick. That is great timing by McLuhan to back off where Joshua had not. Joshua had basically to drive that thing into the ground and hope that it was going to stick. It certainly did, but it nearly cost him that one as they worked their way down into the corner, still battling hard, trying to make it the better of the other. Well, while they battle it out down around the track, let's take a look at our other drivers up to the front here. Keith Hilton, currently about a second and 7/10 behind Aiden Garridano. And Aiden right now, again, just absolutely muzzling this field. He basically put a muzzle on everybody here and said, hey, you figure out how to bark your way through this. I'm just going to basically take this one all the way to the very end. No troubles with my end, my good sis. Aiden hasn't been back to victory lane in quite some time here. He's still looking to try to get it done today. And what a way to do it again with this kind of a race, this kind of situation. Going into this race fans here, Forrest Hamilton Jr. and Aiden Garridano are both tied for the championship hunt. Aiden currently with 1 win to his name, 7 average start, average finish 4th. Forrest Hamilton Jr. has 1 win, with an average start of 8th, but an average finish of 4th as well. Both drivers are both tied at 1,017 apiece. Ballier right now currently in 3rd spot of the season championship holder. He's got 2 wins to his name, the only driver so far to do it. He's got an average start of 3rd and average finish of 6th. So obviously his timing and his cue has not quite been the same par. Kevin Thompson is currently 4th at 934. No wins to his name, but his average start 10th, average finishing 7th. And Gardner rounding out your top 5 with 919 points. Just nearly 100 out from the racing championship spot. But his average start was 14th and currently 8th in the overall finish for him. Certainly one to kind of watch your eye on and kind of keep your noses on there. Looking at also the drivers right now, currently still looking to get into that top 5 bracket. Jeremiah the Flying Dutchman Stutzman, Keith Helton, Matthew Setzer, Andrew St. Cyr, and Matt Rogers. All of them in the top 10 right now. Only one of them has a race win to their name that is in that position. And ironically so, it's the 9th place driver of Andrew St. Cyr. But again, Cyr did not get to be able to run throughout the full circuit. So that has been kind of a bit of a situation that he's going to kind of keep an eye on, kind of now has to work around in this case. That's a lot of work and a long road to be able to put through yourselves and kind of put yourself into those situations. Slam up into the wall protection goes Cyr, and again, Cyr needs to be very careful about how much damage he performs on that car. One wrong move on those tires, and those things will be a lot harder to grip around with. Aiden making a mockery of Miles the Monster's lair right now. He has got this thing absolutely cooking on all cylinders here. And it looks like now Joshua Ballier has finally put himself a little bit further ahead of the gap, further ahead of McLuhan as well as Hamilton Jr. I was saying earlier, like I said, I thought honestly with that run that McLuhan was having, it was going to be a great short term, but it was not a good long term. And, well, I don't like to be right in this case, but it looks like that was the case. Getting a little onboard camera here with Forrest Hamilton Jr. Gonna give you guys an idea. Now he's racing around the track now. Very interestingly, may have noticed there he was clutching in and out from 4th to 5th gear. Probably trying to find a different line down there. Probably trying to figure out something a little bit more in his kind of wheelhouse. As right now in pit road, the first one today will be the Dutchman, Stutzman here of Jeremiah. He's the first one to enter into pit road, and it looks like not a whole lot of ways he really can work around it. Coming up on the back half right now, down to the chute. Watch out, because here comes Hamilton Jr. And Hamilton getting the Grizzly number 3 finally around that Lucas Oil number 51 here of McClune. Man, if I'm McClune right now, honestly, I'm probably kind of rethinking my strategy here. I know he's trying to make his way back up into the fight, back up into the front, but again, I just feel like he, of all things, he kind of overcompensated, kind of accentuated what he was trying to do, what he was trying to prove, and I think that was a big mistake. That might have been way too much. Jeremiah right now trying to get back into the thick of this here, but man, he's got a long road ahead of him too as well. Started 4th, currently down in the 15th spot. He's lost 11 spots down. Not a position you want to ever hear, or really have to see yourself in. You're on board here for Anthony Hamilton here. And again, I said it earlier, I'll say it again. Hamilton kind of came out of the scene out of nowhere. And out of the gate, in my opinion, proved he has got something underneath that hood and has quite a bit of grip and levels of strain under those tires. And now he's looking to make it work, as use it all to his advantage here where he can get it. And down into pit road, you've got quite a few. Oh, whoa, major trouble with the number 21, though. Aiden Garridano tried to hurry into pit road quickly there, and I don't know if he got a little tag there from Hilton. Doesn't look like it. Looked like he spun out on his own there. That is a major mistake, though, on the 21's part. We'll see how pit road treats him. If he sped into pit road, that's going to cost him time. Kyle Lingerfeld and Joshua Ballier are going into pit road. Hilton and Hamilton are in pit road. Garridano as well. He's got to try to muscle that thing out of pit road quickly. Get tires and fuel on it. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, that was about to say. Thought maybe Aiden got a black flag there and called it a day. But no, he says, I'm good. I'm getting her out of here. It's one way to talk to your crew and say, hey, my bad, guys. We'll make it back. Don't worry about it. Joshua and Setzer right now back into pit road here. Lingerfeld right up ahead. Henry's in pit road. Thompson, Angel St. Clair also in there as they roll them out of pit road. Joshua slowing up slightly there, trying to avoid getting into the back 65. Also trying to avoid a speeding penalty. Kind of no surprise, everyone's taking all 4 tires and fuel here. McClune has now joined into pit road. So has Henry there, as you see him. Thompson out of pit road first for St. Clair. I think St. Clair's got a problem down there, folks. I think he might have suffered a speeding penalty. A speeding penalty looks like it was bestowed upon him. The number 12, he's still in there, and they're not getting him out. His teammate, Lynn Thompson, will now have to hold the banner up for BMP. Still yet to go into pit road right now. You've only got a couple of them. Morgan Sterling has finally gone in. Currently, Forrest Hamilton Jr. and Adam Gardner have yet to go into pit road. Now, I am trying to figure out with Hamilton's strategy. Is he trying to stay out as long as he can and kind of put everybody on the back burner, or what kind of strategy lays in his wake? Adam Gardner right now doing everything he kind of can to stay one step ahead of it. Ben Henry, he's got a problem down there. Coming out of pit road. Oh, he's got a major problem out of pit road there. Looked like he got it in there a little too hard there early on from the entry, and now the exit just made it even worse. That's damage on the left front side there. We'll see how that fares, but it's going to put him in the back stack in the rack with the rest of them. That's not where he wanted to go. Out of the pit road side, though, it is Aiden Garridano who has the race lead still from pit side. But again, he doesn't have the overall race lead. But I think, honestly, that strategy Aiden came up with, which was get going quick and fight hard to the end, might be enough. Gardner trying to get back up there, too. Hamilton Jr. Let's take a look now at our track tech time here. Now, keep this in mind. Gardner yet to go to pit road. So is Hamilton. So that can play a major contributing factor here if they're not careful. Now, it does look like Gardner, though, was building a little bit of time here and there on 56 and 58. Lost a little bit there of 55, 57, and 59. So see if an even lap is what helps him get more speed. And that does not seem to be the case here. But you can sure tell the difference there from Aiden's spot here. Aiden's blistering right now. He's trying everything he can to get back up into this battle and back into this crux of things. Has yet to been able to do so. Forrest Hamilton Jr. still in pit road, and it looks like Kyle Lingerfeld, he had a problem down there. Kyle Lingerfeld had a massive problem down there that sent him into pit road, and he called it a day. I'm not sure what happened to the 65, but I think you're about to find out. Take a look at it coming off turn number 4. Oh, right here. There you go. Couldn't save it. Slammed it in the wall and got it into trouble. And just decided to park it in pit road quickly before he can cause a caution to come out. Good effort on his end there for trying to avoid that. But unfortunately, whatever run or thought he processed he had got thrown out the window. Looked like he thought he saved it there, then he realized that it was still flat spotting. Couldn't get it back on the throttle really quick, so at that point he just pretty much locked her up and pretty much called it a day. So Lingerfeld is out of the race now. Gardner has finally gotten... Oh, he was supposed to go to pit road. That's not good. Oh, that's even worse. Oh, no. Oh, Gardner was trying to get into pit road, and he just absolutely cost himself there as well. Oh, I think he's got damage too. Oh, yeah, he's definitely got damage right there. The whole car is crooked and crop-sided. He's basically crab walking it down there. What happened here? We got to figure this out. So it looks like his strategy was he was trying to see how far and long could he go before he had to go to pit road. But that did not go according to plan. Massive slam into the water barrels down there. And almost like an infuriated man behind the wheel. Or as Lucius from Talladega Nights said, a ticked off teenager. He just absolutely went hammer on that throttle trying to get it to recenter, recapsulate. But that, unfortunately, will not do him any good. What a tough break there for Gardner. What a horrible hit there he suffered coming off that turn there and into pit road. Hamilton Jr. finally admitting to defeat. He's gone into pit road. That was an extremely long stint there, but it was not a halfway stint. I don't know if Hamilton was trying to see if it could go halfway to the distance or if he just felt like it was his best option because he thinks Aiden's going to be way too fast to catch up to him. All I do know is that right now, Aiden Garridano is now about to take the race lead away, and he has. Now, here's the thing with Hamilton. he's going to be on much fresher tires here and have a pretty good long run here to his own name. So maybe he can end up kind of encapsulating that and using it to his advantage. But it looks like he's got a problem down there in pit road as well. He's in there an extremely long time, the race fans. Forrest Hamilton Jr., I think he got a speeding penalty as well going in. So, well, there's that strategy. That speeding penalty down there right now is killing a lot of drivers off in terms of their momentum and their speed here. At the moment now, it looks like it's going to evolve around your top three. Hamilton, Helton, and Garridano. And Forrest Hamilton Jr. with problems down there as well. He comes with that stop. He's calling it. He's parked it in the parking lot area, and now he's out. Oh, my. This is just not going well for anybody trying to get out of pit road on turn number 1 and 2. Look at this here. Uncharacteristic blunder, if you will, from the number 3 and Hamilton Jr. Right there, you see bouncing around like that. Again, that's the car trying to get squared up. Again, the surface is not completely flat. They have to kind of try to find a way to elevate their way into the corners and into the turns. And Forrest said, I'm not pulling up with this. I'm done. Called it a day. Now he will be one of the other drivers to join down there with Lingerfeld, as well as Merlin A. Duran, who's currently trying to hold some speed down the track. Adam Gardner here. Massive damage still. Getting fixed up on his end here, too. The 96 of Matt Rogers, the rock star himself, has gone into pit road here. And looks like, from my end, might have been a little earlier than I kind of was expecting out of him. I thought he was honestly already in pit road. And don't look now, but you've got yourselves a battle here, race fans. Kind of obvious to tell the strategy Keith and Aiden are going with here. They're going for the long run 2 pit stop shootout. And Keith right now, in my opinion, probably getting a little bit more speed up on Aiden than Aiden would like to admit. Aiden and Keith right now only separated out by a mere half a second down there, and Keith actually is building up more speed into the turns now. I wonder, though, is Keith overdriving and overstimulating that car a bit, trying to get to Aiden's back bumper? Or could he be trying maybe to get as close as he can before the next pit stop cycle comes into play? This is a very, very obsolete observation right now, but it just seems like more than ever, Aiden needs to start picking up the speed. Picking up the pace, pick up the speeds, because here comes Keith on the inside. And Aiden able to overshoot and overclock at 09 a little bit more than he was hoping for. Both drivers running very particular lines, trying to stay away from one another. But again, those exits are catching them by surprise in some spots and really keeping them up to grip. Race fans, just a heads up as well. Again, this race has been, and this whole season, presented in part by our friends over at Twin Tier Security Solution. Be sure to visit them up on that website via the little barcode you see on your screen every now and then. That's how you'll be able to see what they have and what they have in store. There you go. There's a little barcode popping up now. Scan that QR code. Check out Twin Series Security Solutions for more information. The pace railing in quick and everything thickening out more as we go. It didn't seem like he really is starting to kind of pick up a little bit more of that drive off that he was looking for. It looked like as soon as Keith came up to him, he realized he needed to start going faster. And almost like a light switch with someone placing their finger right above it, flicked it right on, and next thing you know, he puts on the turbos. Now, kind of in a fight for survival and to scratch and claw kind of racing mentality. Aiden up on the outside. A little bit of ground there. Unfortunately for him, not so much. Key trying to get him through lap traffic. I'll try to get through as many other drivers as I can, but right now that battle for the race lead way too hot. Aiden kind of backed into a corner again. Look at him scrabbling in, trying to survive through traffic. Swings through one of them. Oh, but he got tagged for going in front of Setzer. And Hilton with a major opening. You don't leave openings like that, especially for drivers trying to go to it. And Hilton knew it. He scratches him out and gets it to the top spot. Oh, my word. Aiden made a terrible miscalculation. He over-cornered it, and next thing you know, he tried to cross around and cross-thread past the number 5, and that paid off with trouble. Look at the replay. Watch this again. He goes right in front of the number 5, trying to get that lane choice and everything in between, but then he didn't calculate the overall situation at hand. But again, as a leader, you're trying to run your way through lap traffic, trying to avoid issues. And look at this. He gets right in between a heavy dosage of balance with that 0-9, with a slowing up number 5. Has to swing high to the left, but he overshoots it, backs out too quickly. Setzer not able to get out of that throttle and just plowed him in the corner. And Hilton, like a thief in the night, seeing a window open, snuck in through the window and closed that bad boy right behind him. Major upset implications now as Aiden tries to get back at the 0-9 at Keith Elton. Garradano is right now got to be infuriated with himself and infuriated with that lap traffic. I said earlier, though, this racetrack is a test of your equipment and your mental fatigue and how much can you handle in these situations. There is no joking around or no kidding when I say that there is absolutely a lot of heartbreak that comes from racing on this kind of surface, this kind of track. Almost just pure grit, determination, and focus right now on that 0-9. Hilton is looking to keep Garradano behind him. Aiden got to be just absolutely messing with anything he's got left to try to get back up to him, trying to find something to it. Meanwhile, we did not forget about the battles ensuing up to the back. There is some hard runners and some hard fighters trying to go down into this. Thompson and the number 13 making his way around Setzer. Matthew Setzer right now, I got probably not too thrilled that he ended up causing himself a little bit of damage on the front of that nose of his car, but also getting into it with Aiden there. He's not one, in my opinion, to get into really any scruffles or cuffs there. But I think it's safe to say that one hurt him a bit. Yeah, one thing I gotta say too, again, is I've talked about this before, but Stutzman, I don't know if he finally is starting to kind of pick his pieces together. He's starting to kind of put everything down on the track. But this track, it seems like it's almost playing into his key strategies, which is try to spread the track out, try to spread folks thin and wide, and make your moves where you can and kind of take your openings. I think it's actually a very interesting dilemma that the number 88 has put himself in. He's kept himself right in play and kept himself right on the nose. Now he's just trying desperately to hold on to whatever he can as he works his way through traffic with Hamilton going into pit road. And you got to expect, and you better believe that by the time we get to lap 100, those race leaders, top 3, if not 4 and 5, are going to be right up on each other for that final leg of pit stops. My question is, do they take all the tires and the fuel, or do they only take right sides? Now, hear me out. Again, only taking right side tires basically encapsulates that you're only going to get so much time back on the track, and your fuel run still is not going to be countered up as much. But again, that could change if they basically strategize everything right up ahead of time. They have to get all fuel into the cars. Oh! And Gady going to pit road and right Rockstar! Rogers in front of the field. Look out down there. No! 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 Oh, Setzer just can't catch a break, and neither could the Rockstar, and that is our first yellow of the day of all things. Aiden was trying desperately to get down to pit road. I don't think he calculated for another lap traffic car in front of him, and that might have all but hurt Aiden's chances here from the pit side. Aiden was slowing up, and then Roger's not aware what was going on until it was too little too late, and then BAM! Setzer with a massive slam on the corner panel, took that thing right in and just clipped the entire whole rear end housing out with his nose. Oh my word. Let's go on board here with Setzer. And you can see too again how much struggle he was battling with that car and battling with his timing here. He thought he was clear and then didn't realize it was too little too late. I do kind of question why Setzer didn't quite back off when he should have, in my opinion. But at the end of the day, you can't run through a driver's mind like that and think, well, they thought maybe they were clear, so they get around it. It did not play out there. Christopher Casada has joined us as well. He says, hello from Citadel Racing. Christopher, it's great to have you, buddy. By the way, race fans, if you are still wanting to get yourself into an early morning league or want to get into something a little more interesting too with the Next Gens here, Citadel Next Gens does run, I believe, on the 11 Eastern side in the morning. If you are wanting to get yourself into that stuff and you want to get into that kind of racing, have at it. Have a chat with them down there. They certainly would love new drivers and new companions and friends to join up. Of course, they do have a community as well to join in with. But nevertheless, we are still with the Outlaws Sim Series right now here and looking at our overall positioning. Aiden Garradano is still in pit road trying to get as much fuel and tires as he can in. He knows he's going to be in a very tough predicament here. Andrew St. Cyr almost kind of getting I don't even want to say like it's kind of a golden ticket back into this race, but it pretty much is. That pit stop earlier, I thought, really did him so much damage and hurt his chances. Now, it's almost like he basically has been given a second chance here. Aiden down there doing everything he could to get the damage fixed and get the fuel into that car. But I don't know if that's going to be enough here in this case. Top drivers right now, Keith Elton will lead it down. Joshua Ballier right now is in second. The Flying Dutchman, Jeremiah Stutzman, currently in third. Kevin Thompson in fourth. Morgan Sterling, almost kind of giving a little bit of a renaissance here. He'll be in the fifth spot. And Andrew St. Cyr in sixth with Aiden Garradano behind him in the seventh lane. Christopher saying, to be honest, I would have slowed down when I saw that car. Plus, it didn't look like the spinner held brakes all the way. Yeah, I definitely can agree on that one here. But nevertheless, back to the restart zone, back onto the plat. And Keith Elton will lead us down. Well, the two-tire strategy and the two pit stop strategy that's now gone out the window at this point. These drivers are going to have to now race it all the way through. Or they have to be very careful about it. But right now, Joshua Ballier looking into the inside. He's trying to force Helton up a little bit. He throws it deep in the inside. Big runoff from the 18. And Joshua with a big run coming down the back half. Joshua got a huge look on that inside lane. Keith Elton nowhere to go. Earlier on, Joshua was trapped up in the madness and the mixed messages of hard racers and those that were trying to outsmart him. Keith, I thought, in my opinion, honestly had the best lane, the best drive. Catching up back there with Aiden with the way they did. I thought Josh's strategy was going to be kind of to try to see what it would play out to be at that point. But now that you gave the man any extra lives, it's almost like you're playing a Mario game down there. When you give someone some extra lives, they usually either use it well or they'll abuse it to the end of their days. That's Joshua right now, that number 18. Morgan Sterling trying desperately to keep the Little Debbies 23 ahead here of Andrew St. Cyr. And now Anthony Hamilton, but only able to keep Hamilton behind him. And Aiden Garradano now mixing it up in between as well. Both drivers are trying desperately to get back to the top spots. Aiden more so than anything else. That pit stop cost the 21 more than we realized and more than we know. McLuhan in pit row looks like got some damage there on the front of the nose. Everybody wants up east of this. Everybody wants that final leg up, that final drive off if they can get it. Hamilton driving very, very far up. Again, there is multiple lanes to really work with here. But I would say probably the best lane is the where you can kind of shoot towards that middle group lane just barely above. You can see where that line is off the bottom end of the sector. If you can hit it right between there, that's usually your fastest and most consistent route. But it's so hard to keep things well within check and well within reason. Cassad asking down there if the 18 is going for back-to-back tonight. Well, take a look at the dilemma right now, though, as that Hamilton up on the wall protection. Trying to get a look at our season so far and how the schedule has been. Joshua is going for back-to-back. He won at the Phoenix Raceway with the open dog leg last time out. Hamilton, Kyle Lingerfeld got the win at Daytona. And it looks like Hamilton going into pit road here. Looks like he's got a massive problem down there and needs to get that fixed quickly. Trying to get back into what I was saying here, though. Hamilton Jr. won the very first race. Aiden got the second. Andrew St. Cyr got the third. Ballier got the fourth one. Fifth went to Gardner at Talladega. And then Josh, last time out, yes, did get that one. So now he is indeed looking to go back-to-back. But Keith Elton looks like he has kind of figured out the situation at hand, and now just looking to try to get back to him. But this honestly kind of makes me wonder, though, like, had that caution not come out, would this have been Joshua's chance to really been able to stay in this race? Now, hear me out. Again, I'm not saying Joshua wouldn't have had a chance to win this race if he was still where he was at, but really, you got to think about how the pacing was, how lap traffic was being. I think, honestly, if I'm the 18 right now, I'm not letting anybody else by me because, honestly, there is no other chance you're going to get. If someone passes you, this is game over for you. B-Mac says, let's go, Andrew and Kevin. Great to hear from you, B-Mac, once again. And he's trying to root on his boys. There and Andrew and Kevin again, both third and fourth respectfully. Thompson actually is 11 spots up here. Andrew 9 spots up. So Kevin qualifying in dead, almost in this third to dead last position. But he has been pretty much looking like the opposite end of that. Again, maybe it was just a bad qualifying time that put him so far in the background, but now it looks like he's really starting to dictate it and pace it up. Look at that big run coming down the back straightaway. Shoots to the inside. Here we go. Helton trying to hold him off. Overdrives a little bit on turn 4. Thompson's going to have a slight edge coming down the straight. And Thompson with a major run there right out the corner. He moves into the second spot. But now can they get to Joshua in that 18? Currently 15 laps led here from Joshua. I believe it was Aiden and Helton that led the most before that. Aiden by far had led the most of any of the drivers here in this entire race, but right now, unless something can go awry and get him out of trouble, he is currently in a bad spot right now. Meanwhile, behind Andrew St. Cyr, still trying to keep Jeremiah, the Flying Dutchman, Stutzman, without a reach and able to get back to him here. BMX says, yeah, Team BMP. A lot of love down there for that BMP crew. And the beast modes have been definitely activated on those drivers here. But again, still a long, long way to go. Aiden right now currently in 7th place, just doing what he can to kind of stay within his own reach and his own stable. Adam Gardner, after all that damage and beat up machinery there, it seems like he finally got the car back to one piece. But for how long was that worth it? Because again, it put him into the 13th position. And unless more trouble ensues for Setzer and them down there, which it seems as though it will, Setzer is out of the race. So he's only got Hamilton really to kind of hopefully catch back up to as well, with McLuhan out as well in this case. Oh, wait a minute. Looks like Forrest Hamilton Jr. has returned to the track. He came back from the garage. He's back on the circuit. He left earlier on. You got to remember, he ended up costing himself dearly on pit road. And now it looks like after getting into the garage, I think he had a quick team meeting. He said, hey, we're getting back out there, boys. He has returned onto the circuit, but unfortunately for him, might be a little too late. Looking at the difference between Helton, St. Cyr, and Stutzman here. And you can see both drivers struggling to get ahead of the other. And Helton not giving them any breathing room for that 3rd spot. Certainly going to be a lot harder to kind of nail down the grip and nail down the lanes here, considering all things are at where they're now. And Helton just got to be sick to his stomach, realizing he tried so hard to get around to that 18, only to just come up short. I was kind of wondering if that dirty airflow was helping out for Joshua here, and it seems it was, but look at this here. 0.2 of a second gain there within 2 laps. For Thompson, and Thompson looks like he just might have a little something. But I ask you this, does he have enough to make the pass and make the run? He's looking for win number 1 and looking for the 2nd win of Team BMP this season. He certainly seems to think so. He's trying to do everything he can right now. Joshua right now just trying to keep things well within his own reach, well within his own grasp here. He knows how desperate things are at the moment, trying so hard to hold down anything he's got left. Pace starting to thicken out more and more as we go. And Joshua at the moment looks like he's finally starting to kind of get a little bit less of a temperamental issue from that number 13. Keep in mind, though, this is still a long, long road ahead for him and his team, and he knows it. Can't rest on your morals right now. Can't let up on anything. You gotta basically stay right on that snake's throat and keep it firmly planted so it won't go running around. And that last bit of laps there, race fans, that was a whole tenth or so gained back from Joshua. Kevin lost a little bit of speed and probably over-accelerated trying to catch him. At this point now, it's all about just staying within his own lane, within his own situation here. Yeah, right now, again, things are kind of starting to settle back down into the lanes. Morgan Sterling falling further and further back. Yeah, he did a great job earlier trying to hold down that 21 of Aiden Gargano, also dealing with Angel St. Cor and Stutzman there for a bit. But I think, honestly, it just wasn't meant to be. Still, a top 10 finish for him, obviously, is going to be very cool because that, again, started in the 11th position and everyone else kind of faltering in the racing lanes and the surface here. Pit strategies and calls were certainly what made the difference here today. They were certainly what gave each driver their own leg up in their own position. But for some, it was more costly than others. Time running out again right now at the moment. Aiden Gargano got to be the heartbreaking story here. Got quickly into a run, got himself into a good position, and only just to falter just a slight bit, catch himself in a probably the worst kind of genjutsu you can think of here, not realizing where he was at, and just getting taken for the ride of his life and having to get smacked in the back as well, trying to get into pit road of all things, only for that pit stop to cost him everything. Because once that caution came out, at that point, it was game over for him. But again, the one good thing for him is that he still will hold the race lead in, or excuse me, the season points lead in the championship hunt right now. Forrest Hamilton Jr., again, trying to get as many laps as he can back on everybody. But he was still further ahead there of Hamilton, so he doesn't have to worry about that. What he does got to worry about is whatever this 18 machine can do now. Because at this moment, I don't think there is a better driver in this league here, at least that's hot and hot to the ready to the race, than the 18. There are many challengers, but right now, I got to believe he's the one. We're going for it. Vinny Gargano saying it wasn't his fault. I don't know. Hang on one second. I don't need to say it was his fault. I'm just saying he's got to be. I'm just saying that the feelings and everything he's dealing with down there, I know what it's like. I know what's going through his head there. But again, it's just when you're in that lap traffic situation, there's not a whole lot you can do. He did everything he could. But I'm just saying, again, with the way Setzer had kind of caught off guard there from that position in through turn number 2, and then the same situation with what happened with the 96, that's pretty much what ended up costing his race. So I want to be very, very clear about that. Aiden did everything he was supposed to and everything he was trying to do. He just got into a bad situation and it ended up costing him dearly. So I gotta hope that kind of clears up the things. I do not need a revolt in the comment section. I don't want my pitchforks and torches up. I already got enough of that when I say names wrong around in the real world and the virtual world. Joshua right now still almost a full second now ahead with 11 laps left to finish on the track. And Vinny says he's got me. All right, Vinny, he's got me. Perfect. I don't need to upset Vinny. I don't want to upset Aiden either. Next thing I know, there'll be a mob behind my house here and just end up coming flying in. I like being up here in the booth here in Dover, but I definitely don't need to be flown into Witness Protection Agency around here. That's for certain. Jeremiah Stutzman in the 88 looks like might have something left. And one last dash here to Helton. He got around St. Cor earlier. I'm not sure when Cor made that mistake or gave him an opening, but right now, it looks like Stutzman has one last leg up for that 09. Vinny giving me the okay. It's cool down there. Vinny, I appreciate it there, buddy. I appreciate it down there, my good. And Keith Elton at the moment still in third, but at the moment just seems like he almost kind of slowing up a bit more than he wants to. Jeremiah in the fourth spot, Keith in third. Keith down one position where he started. Stutzman right where he qualified at. Hamilton back into pit road here. Looks like Forrest Hamilton Jr. moving one spot up on him. Hamilton just can't quite get anything figured out down there or get it fixed when he wants to. But Hamilton Jr. wise, he's looking for any last bit of timing and execution he can get, as he is right there in the mix with Gardner. But currently six laps down of Gardner. That's going to be really hard to get that back. Makes me kind of wonder, had he not jumped into pit road so quick and left for a while and gone into the infield, would he have been able to put things back together quicker and help close out that points position? I know what it's like, obviously, as a driver. I've been in the sim way too long, and I've been racing down there way too many years. It's obviously a frustration factor and a feeling of just disbelief. When things don't go right, things get and the worst possible outcomes. But as I've always said, no matter who you are and what you do, you got to keep your head up. You got to stay strong, stay mentally focused, and make sure you understand what happened there and then you learn from. I think it was a long time ago I was always taught from a wise man down there that said, you learn more from when you lose than when you have success. If you can figure out how to use that failure and turn it into a successful expedition, then you've done something that not even the winner was able to do. But for Joshua Ballier right now at the moment, the only thing he is thinking of is going back-to-back, claiming win number 3, and looking to close that gap off even further in the championship hunt. We're down to the final 2 laps here. A second and 8/10 ahead, with only one driver in front of him right now. Turn 4, that white flag is up in the sky for your Twin Tier Security Solutions final lap. Down to the end and down to the track. And on turn number 3 and coming from on turn number 4. This one is all the 18. Joshua Ballier going to get it done down in pit lane to win this round. Thompson goes second. Helton goes third. Stutzman fourth. Andrew St. Cyr will go fifth. Aiden will go sixth. And Sterling will round it out in the seventh spot for those on the lead lap. But race fans, yeah, I got a winner in this one, and it was a very long, nonchalant opportunity being given, but he took it with full steam ahead in his territory. The 18, Joshua Balia, getting it done here, getting it to victory lane for the third time this season. And what a long, long road this one was here. Let's take a look now at our race results here. This is presented in part by Twin Tier Security Solutions. Let's try this in a different order this time. Kyle Lingerfeld having massive problems down there. End up having to go from pit side and gets himself into pit road. Costs himself dearly. Matt Rogers, the rock star himself, catches himself in a terrible situation down in turn number 3. Not able to get on the brakes quickly enough there with the 21 in front of him and costing both drivers dearly. Rogers having to surrender this one. Setzer getting into a situation as well down there. Unfortunately, being a lap traffic driver, and next thing you know, he goes smashing in on the 96 there, off from turn number 3 and 4, and nowhere for Rogers to go, or Setzer and both drivers just getting out of this one from that terrible collision and just a terrible break in that case. McLoone with mechanical problems, despite showing great speed and power and resilience, the 51 just could not get this thing into position and ends up faltering badly to 13th. 12th goes to Anthony Hamilton. Had a great run early, a strong showing on the short stuff, and then it just did not seem that was the same situation there in the very, very end of this one. Forrest Hamilton Jr. having a terrible, terrible break there off pit road. Gets way too hard off the bottom, and pretty much at that point just called it. Does come back out, fires down once again, gets back into it. A good run there for them. Adam Gardner going into our top 10 bracket now. Gardner, pretty much at this point, he was just trying to hang on for dear life and hope this thing was going to hold up. It did. He goes in 10th. Merlin A. Durant, I think it's his best finish so far this season. He gets 9th and a very long run. Again, staying smooth and silk and kind of staying out of trouble from anybody. It pays off this time. Ben Henry going 8th. He had a good look earlier, but again, just didn't have that speed. Now on the lead lap drivers, Morgan Sterling, Aiden Giordano, and Andrew St. Cyr having a good look in the long run there. And Sterling, honestly, I thought maybe he had a chance to really prove something, but it looked like he just wasn't comfortable trying to deal with the banking. Giordano, again, just running into trouble all day long and just catching some terrible, terrible breaks. There's not a whole lot you can do. Sometimes, as I've always said, that's just racing for you. 5th going to Andrew St. Cyr. And again, St. Cyr, in my opinion, caught a major break off pit road. If you ask me, that caution saved his race and any chance he had. Jeremiah Stutzman going 4th here. And again, this is the best showing we've seen out of him finally. And again, I felt like he was extremely consistent with what he was working with and dealing with. He just ran into a brick wall that was the top 3 today with Keith Helton. And again, without that caution, I think may have been your favorite to win this one. But again, it did not play out in his favor, and it cost him in a terrible situation there. Kevin Thompson, another strong and remarkable performance. He goes 2nd. Just still couldn't beat that upper echelon spot as Joshua Ballier takes it away from him. Rounding out your overall finishers and everybody in the mix. And hopefully kind of trying to clear up some situations there, though my thought process was. But let's now take it down here with the drivers who took it to the top spots and the honors tonight here, race fans. This is the driver, the 18, Joshua Ballier, joining me once again. And Joshua, congratulations once more, taking another win home and a very, very long road you had to deal with. I mean, talk me through what this was like before that caution came out the first time.
Well, honestly, first stint saved way too much. It was like 6 seconds back. We started to catch back up on the second one. When they started to get the lap traffic, we got all the way back up. Then the caution really, like, out here really lucking out on this one. Really didn't deserve the win. Happy to get the win, though.
Happy to get the win indeed here. Obviously, I know probably, like you just said a second ago, probably wasn't in your mind deserving. But at the end of the day, you still had to take use with the same thing everyone else had to on the track. You had to basically figure out when was the right time to strike and when was the opportunity to go for it. I mean, kind of talk me through like what that short run feels like when you're trying to deal with some serious banking around here at Dover, because that seemed like it was catching a few of you guys off guard.
Um, it was really kind of like tight on entry, and it kind of had like a looser exit. That's why on the end there, I started to develop like a different sort of line than I was trying to race before, and trying to like diamond it, because that felt like the best. Because naturally, because it's tight on entry, it wants to drift up, and if you put a little brake into it, it had enough to where it would like go down the racetrack with the turn once you got to exit. So once I got to like that final stint, a little bit of clean air, which always helps. I've kind of figured out a lane that helped the car drive, but it was kind of really, especially if you wanted to drive pure bottom, it felt really like free as you went up the hill.
And at the end of the day, it seemed like being able to kind of keep that in check and keep all your components in place and making sure you're able to hold it down, it ends up putting you into victory lane today. Joshua, third win of the season, first driver to go back-to-back. Who we thank you for this one?
Me, Adam for putting on the league, and you for broadcasting.
For sure there. All right, well, Joshua, I appreciate you coming by. It's great to hear from you again, and congratulations on getting it done here today, good sir.
Yeah.
All right, well, there you have it, race fans. Here, driver number 18, Joshua Balia, get it done here. We're now chatting up with our second place driver, the man that was hunting him down with pitchforks and torches, and that is that number 13, Kevin Thompson. And Thompson, talk about a performance here, my good sir. You go from 14th, you go 12 spots up to finish second, and that last stint, I honestly thought you had something there. It looked like you were gaining a lot of ground on Joshua. What was going on there on that last bit, and why were you not able to catch him there at that last little run there in your mind?
Yeah, when we restarted on that last restart, I told myself there's too many laps. I just gotta save a little bit of tire and be there at the end and keep everything smooth and all. When I caught up to second place, Keith, I just tore my right front tire to pieces trying to pass him, and I lost drive off, and I was catching Mal for a little bit, but he just started gapping me at the end, and but starting 14th, finishing second, I'll take the points and move on to the next race.
Take the points, move on to the next race indeed. Now, Kevin, obviously, I know it's been a very long, hard, winding down season. Again, you're in the top 5 bracket right now, trying to get to the upper top spots here in the championship hunt. What do you got to do in your mind to kind of match what you did today and be able to keep pushing that into the next races and maybe be able to go further and get that race win in?
Just keep everything simple with these cars, especially if you drive them simple, just simple-minded, everything just straight forward, and don't do anything crazy. The car will stay underneath you. You save the tires, they will be there at the end, and just keep everything simple until I get there. If not, hey, I'll take a top 5.
Take a top 5 indeed. It's a very hard road to get around here, especially with how tough these outlaws are around here. But Kevin, you're able to go on second tonight, my friend. Who are we thanking for this finish today?
Yeah, my teammates at BMP. You put broadcasting this each and every week. Adam Gardner for putting on the league, and everybody in this league's really good. And my family that watches every week, and my dad on his birthday's today. So happy birthday to him, and he watches. So that's all.
For sure there. All right, well, Kevin, man, we do appreciate you coming on by. I know it was a long road for you, your team tonight, but congratulations getting it done here for a solid second place finish today, good sir.
Thank you.
Race fans, second place finisher tonight, driver number 13, Kevin Thompson. Keith Elton not joining us in for our third place interview here, from what I can tell. At least I don't see him with us in this case here. So, unfortunately, we'll not be able to get an interview with him or see what his thoughts, process, and forethoughts are. But nevertheless, race fans, it's been a very long race today. Obviously, I know some tempers kind of blew up there. I just kind of want to remind the comment section here again that it is racing, so there can be some times where we get a little heated. Just kind of try to be civil as you can. I know it seems harder than it looks, but try to keep things civil in the comment section. And nevertheless, we do appreciate you coming by every single time, watch the races. I believe we have next week off due to week 13 shenanigans, but that does mean we will be coming back within at least 2 weeks here of race time. So we hope you've enjoyed it. We hope you enjoy the rest of the season here. And until the green flag is flying high next time here for the Outlaws Sim Series, thanks for tuning in here on Speed Zone TV. We'll see you next time when the green flag's flying.